Hello, my dear friends. Today we continue our review of the diary of German Oberleutnant Martin Stiglitz. Remember to rate the video and also leave your opinion about this story. And we're going to begin. July 24th. On Tuesday, we advanced only 4 kilometers. Then we took the defensive position and stayed there until 5 p.m. on July 23rd, having set up a strong guard and spent the night in tents. We had nothing to do. We could only wander around sleepily, doze and roast under the relentless sun. From time to time, the Soviet bombers showed up, at which our anti-aircraft guns were firing unsuccessfully. They were at an insane height. I would like to know where these pig herders are coming from. The whole corps is now moving along one single road that leads through the swamps toward home. One division after another, and a trailing division is our 12th Infantry Division, and at the very tail of the division is our regiment. In general, we are not going anywhere until the whole corps passes. Our mission is to cover the southeastern and eastern flanks. The guards are always strengthened additionally at night, because in this damn country you never know what to expect. Right now, we're in the village of Koyani. There's a lake nearby, but it's all silted up. Since yesterday evening and this morning, we have been on our feet since 6:30 a.m. We are busy sorting out the belongings of the dead and wounded. This work is time-consuming, but it must be done with the understanding of our responsibility to these people. July 25th. At first, we are going to set out in the evening, but by evening, the order was received to stay overnight. I pulled my box down off the truck and took out my diary. In the evening, I was invited by the battalion commander. We had a bottle of Old Burgundy. Oh, it's a miracle! Now we are standing on the eastern edge of the village of Circa, and it seems that we will be standing here until tomorrow noon. July 27th. It is evening, 6 p.m. We are ready to go. We expect an order to march any minute now. Yesterday brought a refreshing thunderstorm, but when it was over, the unbearable heat came on again. The night's rest was thrice unpleasantly interrupted by firing. Yesterday, 15 deserters came over to us. With the help of my interpreter, a man born in the Baltic, we had a pleasant hour of demonstrative study. What a bunch of fools these guys are! How scared they are about us! It's all the result of endless falsehoods. Here in captivity, they are liberated and are already starting to denounce Politruk Stalin. Today, it's stifling heat again. 2 thunderstorms with downpour have passed, and as soon as the earth was steamed and breathed more freely, the heat came on again. We sleep only in tents. It's the highest moments of happiness, eating and handing out letters. There is no news about the situation on the fronts. The Wehrmacht High Command is silent. I don't know where and how far we're going to advance either. I think it's about 10 to 15 kilometers. The railroad we left behind is already functional up to Opochka. That's the job of German military engineers. It means that we are guaranteed supplies. July 28th. And again, it's getting to evening. At 11 p.m. we are supposed to go on the march. The estimated range for the march is about 40 kilometers. Yesterday's march to our current emplacement is about 10 kilometers along a crummy road in terrible dusk and dark night. Adjutant Bruning, a good guy, rode on horseback next to me. Our company was the last to go. We were chatting, and in the midst of all this mess, we were drawing various pictures to each other, as if we were not in the USSR at all. The tents were put up only by 1 a.m. I slept until 8:30 a.m., then wrote letters to the families of the wounded. Until 2 p.m., I was reading, sleeping, and reading again. Currently, a motorized column was passing by us along the so-called main route of advance. In spite of the fact that we were positioned more than 200 meters from the road, a thick cloud of dust hangs over the tents. July 29th. According to my guys, after a considerable workload, it shook our nerves. And it was pretty bad. After a meeting with the commander and getting the order to march, we left at 11 p.m. Now it is 12, and we could have a break only for a couple of hours at the morning break. At night, it was cold, truly cold, and there was fog and dust. We passed about 38 to 40 kilometers along the route of the 32nd Infantry Division. It had a hard time here. There are crosses on the graves of heroes along the whole road on the right and left. This is the only road through the swamps, and for it the battles were fought. There are bushes all around, as we had then, but the guys from the 32nd had this road at least. Here 800 Russians were killed and 250 captured. There's a horrible corpse stench along the road. Yuck, damn it. Nobody knows what else the present day will bring us, but I am fed up with this USSR, and for me it is really a lot. July 30th. Yesterday, I wrote the last few lines during the afternoon break, which was interrupted by the march continuation at 6 p.m. It was even good, as there was no water at all to wash. We covered about 15 more kilometers to Liget, one of the typical country holes for these places. At 7 p.m., we crossed the Lovat River at Troitsa Klavica. By 10:30 p.m., the tents were in place, the outposts were set up, and at 11 p.m., the company was already asleep. Sometimes the nights were really cold. What about daytime? During the day, it's indescribable heat and a persistent thick dust. This morning, I washed myself thoroughly in the Lovat. What a pleasure it is after such a long pause. It looks like the Bolsheviks intended to build a powerful defense line here. There are anti-tank obstacles for kilometers. A massive amount of earth has been dug up for the construction of long-term firing positions and so on. Nevertheless, they simply did not arrive here to defend these positions. We suppose that the Valdai Hills will meet us with strong defensive fortifications, and we will not charge it frontally. Anyway, we'll see what happens. We are currently positioned in the eastern part of the village of Serka. Probably we'll stay here until the middle of tomorrow. I had a nap, then read the Fresh Reich. That's a paper, I must say, way above our average. August 1st, 1941. We left Serka on Thursday, July 31st at 4 a.m. We had to march about 12 kilometers to the next halt. We settled our tents near the village of Dobrovo on the bank of the river Kanashevka. This place is very nice, but I think that we are not going to stay here for the night. In the afternoon, I managed to write down some notes. My Pfannenjäger von Tippelskirch leaves for Rostock tomorrow morning. Perhaps even the letters will reach there faster than him. Yesterday, we were attacked thrice from low altitude by Rat fighter planes. Thank God there were no casualties. We fired at them with all our guns. It prevented them from getting even lower. I counted the number of men in my company. As of today, the company is missing 1 officer, 9 non-commissioned officers, and 53 soldiers. I.e., the number of personnel who currently join me in combat is 2 officers, 16 non-commissioned officers, and 82 soldiers. These figures speak for themselves. There is no need for any further comment. The 1st Battalion replaced the 48th Regiment's combat guard this morning, and then suddenly the Reds, with shouts of hurrah, went on the attack, but they were forced to retreat after 3 attempts. And now they are shelling the 1st Battalion with all kinds of weapons. Will there be another fight today? I think it's rather so. The only thing left to do is wait and drink tea. The 6th week of the war comes to an end today, and the 7th week begins. We have just been informed that Holm was taken yesterday. Now I hope there will be no need to carry out this damn mission, to cover the flank on a front of almost 60 kilometers. There is an all-around defense everywhere, and thus the road along which the offensive is running is also covered. On August 1st, as I expected, we still had to engage. The 2nd Battalion, including yesterday evening, has had 2 difficult days. They were under a heavy artillery fire, suffered losses in manpower, and lost a large number of horses. These swines were constantly attacking them. Once the Reds even crossed the river, which was not too deep there, and hit the flank of the 1st Battalion. We were certain that they wanted to flank us as well, so I and my company immediately took up positions to the left of the river. The task was accomplished, and Lieutenant Schubert, reinforced by a squad with 2 heavy machine guns and 1 heavy mortar, was sent forward as advance guard. The night was peaceful, and a reconnaissance sent out in the morning learned that these pigs had pulled back about 2 kilometers to the east. I count on our joining with our division today. August 6th. I made last notes on August 3rd, Sunday. On Monday, all was quiet. We made a reconnaissance and came to the conclusion that they had fled. Besides, our artillery had attacked the approaching Red columns so heavily that this mob had to run away in confusion. On Monday evening, Brüning, Hubert, Dr. Bruckmann, Dr. Fock and I were at the battalion command post. We fell a little into a world of illusion, telling each other about the wonderful feasts and marvelous drinking. As I settled down to sleep in the dugout, I suddenly felt disturbed and couldn't sleep for a long time, haunted by the feeling that something was about to happen. Here you gradually gain such perceptiveness, and indeed, at around 1:45 a.m., both forward patrols fired a green rocket each. An enemy attack! Night attack! Damn it! A heavy shelling started. Not hesitating a minute, I moved with the company on guard at the bottom of the gully, taking everyone who came up from the front. The soldiers from Schubert's platoon, the guard unit of the 7th Company, and part of the 6th Company have taken them all under my command. I took up a position in our rear. Schubert, meanwhile, had to withdraw from his position because the Reds suddenly, with their forces of 2 companies, almost surrounded him. When I sent out reconnaissance men, I got the order to retake the position lost by Schubert with the support of one of the platoons of the 1st Battalion. So I was forced to attack with the forces of only 1 company, without heavy weapons, understaffed, and made up of soldiers from 4 different companies. And despite everything, we succeeded. We started at 9:30 a.m., and at 2:30 p.m., I was already reporting to the battalion. The enemy had been completely destroyed. The position of Schubert had been taken. Among my guys were killed Feldwebel Stress and Wegmann. Oberfeldwebel Jurison was badly wounded. The company did a good job. 140 Russians killed, another 30 men burned in the huts. There was thick fog and poor visibility tonight. We had to stay alert. It's an especially unpleasant job to cover the flanks. We are totally on our own, without communications with the main forces, and can only rely on our own manpower. I hope that our neighbors will advance soon to Velikaya Luki, and the stupid situation we've got will finally come to an end. That is all for today. You can watch other episodes of this diary by following the link in the pinned comment. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and support the channel by subscribing. Goodbye everyone, until next time.